Recorded live from the dungeon, this is the Dream Warrior Review, and I'm Kurt Thomas.
And coming at you live from the hills of Tennessee, straight from his Tennessee Hyundai,
I'm Mick Strawn.
Mick Strawn.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Oh my god. That was the hardest thing ever, just getting my computer to work. And I couldn't find my headphones so I could hear you. So I had this old 1970s set of headphones on one ear, and then the other ear I had my white headphones.
I literally was sitting here. I was frozen because because you said, "Well, I'm here," and I was just watching the end of Dracula, right?
Oh yeah.
And I I listened to the end of Dracula, and then I just kind of like sat there. And then I got the text about, oh, I'm trying to fix the thing. And I'm
right.
just sitting here, you know, and I kind of...
Kind of like Dracula waiting for the night to come.
Yeah, that's kind of where I faded out at. Okay, I'm back. I'm good. Okay.
We should make this like G-rated and no spoilers so I can make it easy to edit because I want to finish those other files that we talked about.
Gotcha, no problem.
Because that way I can just kind of like listen to it once through and say, okay, it's good, and then just post it. So I don't want too much work on this one.
Let's do that. Okay.
We're talking about the feminist coming-of-age movie called Gretel and Hansel.
Gretel, feminist coming of age. That's a good take on it. I like it. So we went out to see this film. It's a little play on words there.
Yes.
Gretel and Hansel. And
yes. I think it was a feminist movie, actually. I think it was intended that way because that's why her name's first, obviously. But anyway.
Absolutely. There's a funny thing about this one is that there was an aspect of it that I for some reason I kept banging my head against the wall going, well, wait a minute, this is the Hansel and Gretel story, and there was a look about the film that was very impossible to place. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Because
it seemed to me like probably there were certain references to the potato famine in Ireland.
Yep. But I got that impression. Plus, she was a redhead.
Yeah. Plus, she was a redhead. But the thing is then as it kept going along, I kept thinking that what the director was trying to do was to create something bigger than that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I know that this is going to sound really strange, but after it went on, I began to like it more and more and more. And then I really liked the ending. And I thought to myself, wow, this is not only is it a complete retelling, but it's very, somebody was trying something really different.
Yeah. Oh, no. I think it was, I agree, in fact, but I was in it by the time we got to the pointy house. I was totally in.
Yeah. I was about 3/4 of the way in by the time we got to the pointy house. And then, and I just, I held on to the Hansel Gretel thing too long.
Yeah. I gave it up because I actually couldn't remember. I was sitting there in the first 10 minutes going, I don't know if I remember the actual story. I gave up. I'm like, okay, I'll just watch this.
Well, it was pretty obvious when they couldn't eat the house.
Yes. I do remember that.
And that's not a spoiler. I really don't think because it's actually in the trailer. But I have to say that I loved the acting in this film.
This is the girl from It, Sophia Lillis. Is that how you say her name? But she was in It. I think she's come a long way even since It.
Oh, I think that she has. I think that she just had a great look about her, and the acting was definitely above par all the way across, and the story was complex and not immediately. You had to think it through as you were going. It made me actually think.
Well, I think the two other people in the theater with me, actually three, I think they were thinking really hard. One guy was falling asleep, but the other two were awake.
Yeah, I don't think that it was a movie made for this area.
Where you are?
Where I am.
What's weird is it reminds me of that area that you're in.
It does. It does, except for nobody shot a deer.
Right.
It was, it's funny because there's something to be said for trying to set your sights in a different direction. I've most of the films that I've done were pretty easy. I don't want to say easy, but the thing is when we were doing things in the 80s, I think that our writing was not as complex as some of the writing can be today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In other words, keeping a nebulous idea and still holding on to a thread.
Right. That you can follow.
Right, that you can follow. Not that much done. The 80s aren't known for that.
No, not really.
And the 90s aren't known for that. I think this was a perfect example of the best of modern writing.
This actually strangely, the music reminded me of Neverending Story. I kept thinking about that. But in a way, it's kind of like that movie.
Yeah, it is.
Follows
it's
fantasy,
it's just,
basically.
Yeah, it's a fantasy. It's
Alice in Wonderland. It's basically
it is. It does have an element of Alice in Wonderland, but I'm going to say it's more than those. It's kind of complex and very earthen.
Yes. Well, I thought the sets were like amazing. Yeah, I think so. Earthen.
Oh,
yeah, sure. The sets were like, in some cases they were so simple, but in other cases they were like complicated. It's
you know what was weird is there was a very mysterious set there.
Yes.
That you knew exactly where it was. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Didn't you know exactly where that was?
And that scene where she's walking into it, it's amazing.
Right. In relationship to the house itself, it's funny because I thought, usually when we start doing those things, I don't know where you're at. You don't, but I thought to myself, wow, I don't know why I did, but I thought to myself, man, I had this absolutely clear vision because of some of the clues that went into it, the making of it.
Right.
I knew where I was every moment in this film, which was just amazing that they could, that it had fantasy, but it had anchors to that fantasy all the way along. Those anchors were just kind of mind-blowing.
Totally. Yeah.
And I don't suggest that people say, look for the anchors, but just know that as you're watching the film, you're going to know where you're at all times, and you'll be going, oh, yeah, cool,
Right. And you have this feeling of dread, like that they're.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like you don't know what's going to happen, and I don't know. I was definitely rooting for somebody, so.
Yeah, because I have to say that I have never liked the story of Hansel and Gretel.
Right, yeah.
And going in, I thought to myself, man, I really don't want to see this. Once again, you know what? I swear, since the beginning of like 2018, there have been more films that I've gone into thinking, oh God, I really don't want to see this.
I had no idea what I was going into because I only saw that one trailer.
Yeah, well,
pulling
that's
the thing out of her mouth, and I'm like, okay.
But there's been so many times like Spider-Man in the multiverse, right?
Yes.
There's been many films
That one blew me away.
in the last 2 or 3 years that I've just been completely blown away. I expected nothing of them, and they did much better. You know, some I'm getting to the point to where, you know, the thing I look forward most to the films that I don't think I'm going to enjoy at all.
Right. Yeah, well, actually, I go in thinking this movie's probably going to be horrible and it's going to be fun to talk about, but then I end up liking it.
Yeah, then you wind up... That's funny. I was wondering if it was taking me a while to really get into this film. I was thinking it was like every preconception I ever had about the Hansel and Gretel story.
I was actually worried when I saw the Orion logo. I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, that's still around?
Yeah, that kind of surprised me too. I was like, all right, wait a minute.
It looks like it's from the 80s.
Yeah, this is way back. Oh, you know, Orion goes all the way back to, I got to tell you, the first film that I saw, and I'm trying to think, why can't I think of the name of it? It went right out of my head. How you like that? Well, let's not edit that out. I went completely dumb. Jeez. So.
Well, that was a very common thing to see back in the 80s and 90s. I was trying to think of wasn't like Prancer or some of those like weird Disney-esque kind of movies part of Orion, like
right,
Caddyshack, and I'm actually trying to look it up. That's why I was stalling there, but I think I do remember
it was
those
stalling.
two.
It was good, but I was thinking all the way back to
Throw Mama from the Train.
Yeah, and how about the what's the one where like kind of the last man in the world kind of thing, and the whole world is against him. My name is Legend.
Is that the Mick Strawn story?
No, the 1970s version of My Name is Legend.
Oh,
you know,
boy.
I was going to say Marathon Man, but it's not Marathon Man.
8 Heads in a Duffel Bag was an Orion movie.
Was
Orion
it?
Picture, yeah.
You mean I worked for Orion?
That's what.
Wow.
In the 90s, yeah.
Wow.
I'm looking at Wikipedia though, so who knows how accurate that is.
Oh yeah. No, that's a good one. Yeah. Wikipedia.
I could update it any way I want to.
Yeah. How good is your neighbor at writing? Well, yeah. At least half of my stuff shows up on Wikipedia.
Oh yeah. So Prancer was okay. I'm excited that I actually knew something.
Oh, you actually nailed that one. There you go.
Well, I just remember that being a weird movie, and I somehow related it to the logo. I don't know how, but so yeah, I think it's funny because like I think people will probably hate this movie. At least the younger generation might not like this, like the millennials and it could go either way, really.
Well, yeah, no, but you know, here's the thing though: is there's something about it that was very millennial. It was the best of modern writing. It was complicated and yet you were well led. Yeah, there really wasn't a lot of dialogue in it.
I mean, there was a conversation between two people that was interesting, but that's about it. It wasn't really they didn't really overly explain anything. You just kind of connected the dots yourself.
Yeah, but you know the way that the dots were connected was very, very, very interesting. I liked it. I think I really thought that it's for 100% sure the best movie I've seen that was made in 2020.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think so.
You know, that's come out in 2020. The best one so far, and it's weird. Every cell in my body wants to say that it shouldn't be.
Right. Well, it's gonna change.
Every cell in my body.
Hopefully, it'll change. I mean, I like movies that are really dark and depressing and like this, so it kind of worked for me.
Yeah, except for it wasn't.
Yeah, I know. Well, it wasn't really depressing necessarily, but it was pretty dark.
It was dark. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, there's something about it I like, and you know what? I'm going to put this at a 4.
This sucks because I totally agree, and but the only thing I want to say is I don't want this to have a sequel. I think it should stay like it is and not have a sequel.
Yeah. Please, people, listen to us. I don't think it'll. I don't think it'll have a sequel. I mean, you know, the thing is if we had that whittled down effect, then there'd just be 2 people in the theater instead of 3.
Right. Well, one of the guys that was in the theater with me, he looked like he belonged in the movie, so I was a little nervous about him.
Gotcha.
Anyway, so I guess we're done with this one, aren't we?
Yeah, I think that we are. I would like to talk about something though, really quick.
Oh, well, I'm not going to stop you. I bet you I know what you're going to talk about.
I'll bet you do. Well, this is just kind of an announcement of intent.
Oh boy.
So what are we working on right now, buddy?
Well, we gave George C. Romero first. Basically, we broke the news there already.
Yeah, we broke the news there already, but
so we gave him the exclusive. So this is like the second time that we've announced this, I guess. It's a little project that involves the brain of Mick Strawn and based on a book that he wrote to start off with, but basically stories.
Yeah, it's
the reason why half our audience is here.
Yeah, it's Behind the Screams, the series.
The series, yes.
Yeah, it's just forming nebulously right now.
I wanted to call it. I wanted to suggest a title: Mick Strawn's Narcissistic Ramblings, but
I noticed. I noticed that you texted me that.
It has a nice ring to it.
You know, I'm nothing if not a narcissistic mess.
Kind of like somebody in this movie we saw. But
yeah, that's sort of. Yeah.
No, it's going to be a cool project. I'm excited because it's going to be very creative. I mean, how much are we going to say about it? I don't know how much I'm allowed to say about this.
Well, the thing is I think that we can say that we're working on an animated version of my stories over the years.
We're putting pretty pictures to your stories.
That's right. My
that's
stories.
A good way to put it.
Pretty pictures. So we're gonna have a few people animating, and we are going to put them together in a series that will come to Apple.
All right.
And you are going to be a producer. And TJ is going to. You guys are going to co-produce it. Beans as you guys have all kinds of recordings of my stories, and we're going to take those stories and maybe we'll expand it a little bit. I think for the first year, the first season, it's probably going to be me. But you don't know. I mean, we might pull in other people as we go along. That'd be good.
Some other good storytellers out there.
Because I thought, Behind the Screams is too good of a title just to leave for one film.
Aw. So you're sharing.
I think, the idea for me originally was to bring in some other people because I know a lot of really good storytellers. I mean,
yeah. Well, anybody who's worked in the horror genre, I think, are good at storytelling, especially if they've directed or if they've done any kind of creative work behind it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, and I want to see I want to see the stories from behind the scenes.
Absolutely, yeah.
From more of behind the scenes, everyday workaday of the filmmaking, because it's an amazing industry that the thing is I noticed that the film has like 4 or 5 stories that are kicked around between the actors and the director that get on the press tours and stuff, and they tend to be pretty sanitized.
Yes.
And not only are they sanitized, but they always seem to be about either actors relating to other actors, or actors relating to directors, or directors relating to producers, or producers relating to agents. That always seems to be the bulk of the stories that you hear about.
Yes.
And I don't want to tell or hear those stories.
Yeah, you want to tell from the trenches and the people that are like the true creative force behind the movie, right?
That's right. I want the real, because the bulk of the effort that's put into a film is put in behind the scenes. I mean, that's why you've got between 30 and 130 people behind every pair of talking heads that you see on the screen.
Yes.
And the talking heads are the ones that tour, and the ones that then go on and do all the cons and stuff like that. So that's the bulk of the stories that you hear.
Right.
And the thing is there's just vast caverns of great stories behind that.
Right. Every little bit counts, right?
Every little bit counts. We're going to find out who.
Even the smallest leaf in a movie can make all the difference.
Says the leaf
or the way the wind
blower
blows the fog can make a difference.
The way the wind blows.
No, I've actually, that's one reason why we did our podcast, was to hear your stories, and we brought other people in that have told some amazing stories, and it's a great idea. So the first, you didn't even have to ask me, you just said, hey, video, book, and I said, yep.
No, more than anything, I signed you.
Yeah, you just said, hey, you're doing this. I'm like, okay.
You're doing this. You're doing this, damn it.
Well, I'm a little worried because TJ's a little, he seems a little, but I think I can work with him.
Yeah, well, you guys are just gonna, you know what? If you guys can get along with me, you can get along with each other.
Yeah, so, I think you have to be crazy to work with Mick, but so that actually says a lot about all three of us.
Yeah, there you go. Well, so this is the creative nexus, and we're pulling on some animators, and we're just in the very beginnings of those processes. So. There will be a Kickstarter, either a Kickstarter or a Indiegogo campaign coming up, and I want to do everything I can to get the word out. So we're going to create a brief version of the overall idea, and we'll put it on an Indiegogo, and then we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah, sounds great. So if there's any animators listening, feel free to send some stuff.
Get a hold of me, man. Get a hold of us. Get a hold of Kirk. Get a hold of me. Get a hold of TJ. Get a hold of somebody. Get a hold of yourself right around the throat. Yeah, my dad said that kind of... Yeah, that's right. My dad used to say stuff like that. See,
oh, really?
Mick, get a hold of yourself right around the throat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, those stories. See, okay, there's some stories that you've told me about your dad that actually aren't film related, but would be pretty amazing.
I definitely
like stories.
I want some of the flying stories in there for sure.
And there's actually one story that I really like about your sister, the red stool story. That's one that I think would be amazing, animated.
Yeah, thank God she's dead. And so that she doesn't have to hear that story.
Right, yeah.
So I didn't mean thank God she's dead.
I know what you mean,
but
because you knew torture to hear that story.
It would. The thing is we'll turn her over in her grave.
Oh boy. Well, I will say that she worked on a movie that I really like that people make fun of me for to this day for liking. It's Book of Love. I still like that movie.
Even I laugh at you for that one. You know what? The thing is that film was by Bob Shea.
Yeah.
And it was a coming of age story, and everybody knows that he was born full. He was born grown up. So, I think it's fiction, totally.
Yeah, well, that's what's great about it, probably.
Yeah, well, there you go. Okay, guys, that's it. I think we've had enough of this.
Yes, let's wrap it up quickly. Thanks for joining us on the Dream Warrior Review podcast. Don't forget to tell your friends about us, follow us, and, of course, like us. We can be found on Podbean, which is an amazing app, YouTube, Stitcher, Alexa on any pod, iTunes, Google Play. We're on Twitter as well, at DW Review, and, of course, Facebook. You can find us there. You can also email us at dreamwarriorreview@gmail.com.